Well, we business. Hang on. Let's get the branding on. Need the branding on point. Branding's not working. Okay. Welcome back. Oh, it's back. There's the branding. The branding's on. We can do the show properly now because it's all about the branding, people. Konnichiwa. Welcome back to the Geeknd live. Wherever you are, whoever you are, we had a little break. How did you cope without me in your life for what I think was like maybe 3 weeks? What's new with you? Let me know. Let me know how you are. And I do hope you're well. I will come to the chat in a moment. Why is a number in Scotland trying to call me? That's always alarming. Anyway, I'm busy because this is the return of the Geekend live. So, yeah, I'm going to pop over to the chat in just a moment. A hot second, as they say, or maybe more like a lukewarm second. But first of all, let me get all of this together. I basically had forgotten how to do this, so I'm just sort of getting all my windows, my links, and all that in place. But this is what's coming up in this week's alleged entertainment. Have I got my notes? Yes, the chat batch. We'll be looking back at episode 15 of the Bad Batch. And also, we'll take a little look ahead to tomorrow's finale as well with Alex from Star Wars Explained. So that will be in approx 25 minutes. Before then, we'll go through, there's a Star Wars story, but also some other movie stuff as well. So those of you who aren't watching The Bad Batch or haven't seen episode 15 of The Bad Batch yet, you've got about 25 minutes before spoilers are coming. So there's your warning. I'll warn you again before we start as well. I've been in Japan and I couldn't log in to Disney Plus out there. So I actually binged, I think, 3 episodes, the last 3 episodes, maybe 4. Anyway, at least 3 just yesterday, to be honest. So I've only just caught up with what's been going on in the Bad Batch. So we're going to talk a couple of other movie stuff as well, including Michael Keaton's Batman, Val Kilmer's Batman, also the new Bond film. Indria Varma has said something about Kenobi. Something. We'll do that also. But let me pop over to the chat and do some hello there's usually. Where is the chat? Why is... here we go. Here we go. I genuinely feel like I've never used this software before, and it was only like 3 weeks ago. Peter was here at UK time, 1 minute past 4 in the afternoon, which is a couple of hours ago now. Is he still here? It's been a long wait for him if he is. Yes, it's alive. The Geekend alive. The Geekend live. Brad Snoke, welcome back. Yes, the great leader, Brad Snoke, Supreme Leader, has returned. Because you do mean Brad, right? Brad is the true leader here of the stream. Yes, thank you. You've corrected yourself. Supreme Leader. Hey, welcome, mate. Good to see you. I missed you too, Meg. We need to have a catch up soon. Simon D. Yeah, it has been a little while. It feels to me, at least, like it's been longer than it has been. Things were pretty hectic out there in Tokyo, pretty full on. So it was all a bit of a blur. But yes, konnichiwa, Anders. Good to see you, mate. And Sidge is popping in. You got band practice, haven't you, tonight? So I guess you're just popping in before you go off to your priority band practice. Jane Flake's asking in the chat, do you guys give Lucifer a watch, or is it just me? I haven't seen Lucifer, actually. Others, let Jane know in the chat if you've seen it. Peter's still here. Man. Commitment. I wish I could see commitment like that from you, Peter, with Sidge. You know, his priorities, not in the right order. Kino's here. Kino, you sticking around, or have you got a dog walk coming up? Phil's here. Good to see you, Phil, as well. All right, so good to see some familiar faces, names, or profile pictures anyway. So let's get into the first story. Batman. So Michael Keaton has talked about slipping back into the Batsuit for the Flash. And he said that it was shockingly normal. Now, this is quite different to what Val Kilmer's said recently about the Batsuit. So let's have a look at what Michael Keaton Exactly said. This is on Movie Web. I don't know where the original interview came from, but we will find out in a moment because I do like to credit where I can. Anyway, these are the words of Jeremy Dick on August the 10th, 2021. Wearing the Batsuit is like riding a bike for fan favorite Batman actor Michael Keaton. I think he's my second favorite Batman. As every fan of The Dark Knight knows, Keaton famously played Bruce Wayne in Tim Burton's Batman in 1989, a role that he then reprised in the 1992 sequel Batman Returns. Keaton hasn't played for superheroes since Val Kilmer took over the role for Batman Forever. More on VK in a moment, though many fans still consider Keaton's Batman to be the best of them all. I don't, but he's like I said, probably number 2 for me. For years, fans have been calling for Keaton to reprise his role as an older Bruce Wayne in the new Batman movie. It has since been revealed, and we've talked about this before, that he'll finally play Batman once again with a special appearance in The Flash, the upcoming DC film, starring Ezra Miller, reprising his DCEU role. And it's incorporating multiverse elements into the story, which basically allows Keaton's Batman to show up alongside the DCEU's Batman, played by Ben Affleck. I'm just about keeping up. I hope you are as well. But anyway, let's get on to the quotes from Michael Keaton. So he was talking to Jake's Takes host, Jake Hamilton. And he was asked directly about how it felt to put the Batsuit back on after a 3-decade hiatus. And as Keaton explains, he was rather surprised by how natural it felt to be back in the suit. It was shockingly normal. It was weird. Like I went, oh yeah, that's right. That's what Keaton said. The actor also spoke about how putting on the Batsuit flooded him with memories of playing the character so many years ago, which he found to be interesting. Keaton stopped short of officially confirming if he'll say his famous "I'm Batman" line in the movie by pretending he didn't hear the question. But it seems to be more likely than not we'll hear it at some point. Yeah, if he went for that approach in response to the question, then he most probably does say that line in the movie. Now, he doesn't necessarily say whether the nostalgia it brought up of actually wearing the suit was positive nostalgia, but Val Kilmer does go a bit deeper into his memories of wearing the suit. Has anyone seen this Val Kilmer documentary? I think it's on Amazon. Phil, didn't realize I've given you an extended cameo on the chat there. I'm going to take you off screen now. Sorry, it's over. The cameo's over. We might hear from you again later. Let me just bring up another page. I did tell you that I am basically relearning how to use this software. What's it called? What's it even called? StreamYard. That's the one. No, not that one. Not that one. This one. Yes. Val Kilmer. So Val Kilmer's in this documentary, which I haven't seen. If anyone's seen it, I'm interested in seeing it. So if you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it. I think it's on Amazon. But anyway, here's the headline here on Geeky Tyrant. Val Kilmer's excitement about playing Batman in Batman Forever was crushed because of the Batsuit. So this is a less positive bit of nostalgia in regards to wearing a Batsuit. We can't say the Batsuit. Obviously, a different Batsuit to Michael Keaton's, a bulkier one, a more modern-looking one. Amazon Prime Video recently released Val Kilmer's documentary, Val, which offers an intimate look into his life and career. It's a fascinating documentary that features footage that Kilmer shot himself over the course of his life. In one of the sequences, Kilmer opened up about his time playing Batman in Batman Forever. While he was initially excited to play the part, it ended up being an awful experience for him. Couldn't have been bad. And one of the main aspects of that was because of the Batsuit. He explains, I was in shock and disbelief, mostly because I had just been exploring a remote Batcave. By Hollywood standards, Batman is the ultimate leading role and a dream come true. I took the part without even reading the script. But whatever boyish excitement I had going in was crushed by the reality of the Batsuit. When you're in it, you can barely move and people have to help you stand up and sit down. You also can't hear anything, and after a while, people stop talking to you. It's very isolating. It was a struggle for me to get a performance past the suit, and it was frustrating until I realized that my role in the film was just to show up and stand where I was told to. Kind of similar to some of the interview clips you hear from Anthony Daniels over the years in terms of being in the C-3PO suit, being quite isolating on set to the point where people just left him. Some might say that's because they didn't like him. There was obviously rumors of that clashing personalities on set with Anthony Daniels. But anyway, I mean he's not the first and probably won't be the last to complain about the bat suit. I know George Clooney had some words to say about it as well. George Clooney also recently openly admitted to being the worst Batman. He said it, but I mean, I've said this before. I'm not going to apologize for it. I really enjoyed Batman Forever. Couldn't be much different to obviously what came before in terms of Tim Burton's releases, but I was kind of young at the time, and I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the humor and the cheese factor. Still don't mind it to this day. So anyway, 2 takes on the Batsuit there from Keaton and Kilmer. And has anyone seen this Kilmer documentary? Is it worth me investing my time, my very precious time, into watching it? Right. I'm going to pop back to the chat. Yeah, Simon, I'll give you, in fact, oh, okay. You want to avoid the Bond chat? Yeah, it's not about any spoilers or trailers or anything. Actually, it's more about the amount of money that's been spent on it and how that money's been increasing with the delays and what it needs to make to even break even now. So I don't know what you might see on the page though, so I will give you a heads up just in case there's anything on the page that gives anything away. Alpha Monkey, hello to you. Yeah, Bale is number 1 for me, Kino. Who's number 1 for you? David, good to see you, mate. David says, hope you are all having a fabulous Thursday so far. Jane Flakes, Adam West is not my number 1. It is Bale, as previously mentioned. Is Adam West your number 1? Skywalker Sound, virtual hug right back at you. And Simon D says, I like Affleck, but he didn't get great material. And also Simon D likes Lego Batman. Val Kilmer I enjoyed as Bruce Wayne. Did Val Kilmer have he had nice turtlenecks? In fact, Keaton had turtlenecks as well. I feel like it's just a staple of Bruce Wayne's wardrobe, to be honest. I like a turtleneck. Peter, thank you for the super sticker. Do you know what? I've had a super chat before, but I don't think I've had a super sticker, and I don't know what the difference is. Where is the sticker? Thank you, though. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. Supreme Leader Brad Snoke. Can't wait for the Flash. I can't wait to see the Val documentary. Has anyone seen it? Oh, Simon D's got news on the Val documentary. I think Val is only on US Prime for now. Hopefully UK soon. Well, in that case, Supreme Leader Brad Snoke, I know he's busy being a Supreme Leader. He can go and watch it for us then. We don't want spoilers, Supreme Leader, but we would like information on what you thought of it. Is it worth myself and Simon D getting involved with it? Because you're in the US. Alpha Monkey, blame Joel Schumacher and his bat nipple obsession. Yeah. I'm not going to blame Joel Schumacher, though. Those films, you know, they hold a special place in my childhood. But there was a weird obsession with bat nipples. I agree with you then. And also, the Supreme Leader himself enjoyed them too. So excited as a kid to learn that Jim Carrey was the Riddler. Jane Flakes, the 1966 Batman, the movie gave me nightmares when I was a kid. That was the last scary one. Dave Milano's here as well. Welcome back. Yeah, thank you for having me back on my own channel. It's our channel. The Geeknd Live, anyway, is, as hopefully anyone who's new here is seeing already, it's very much a group effort. We're on the chat more than anything, to be honest. Hope you're well, David. You are welcome, Phil, for the extended cameo. Jamie, have you seen the promotional image for the Lord of the Rings Amazon series? No, I haven't. I'll look that up in a second and I'll bring it up on screen. Remind me if I don't. I haven't seen it. I've missed loads. Honestly, the schedule was nuts in Tokyo. And then by the time I got back, I was just, we didn't have any hardcore quarantining to do. I had to do like a soft quarantine in the UK before leaving. And then I've lost count of how many COVID tests I've done and I'm fully vaccinated. But in Japan, we had to do we were in like a bubble straight away. So there was no official kind of locked in your hotel room quarantine. It was a very strict bubble. So we were out, straight away. There wasn't the hotel time I was hoping for to do some binging and stuff. Hey, and Tilly's here. Hello to you. And Supreme Leader has said that he will report back next week on Val, which is good. Right, okay, let's just bring in another story because in about 15 minutes we're going to switch to the chat batch mode, everybody. So, going to share another screen. In fact, Simon, I'm going to do the Bond story now. I'm doing the Bond story now, okay? So I'm giving you 10 seconds, all right? So that's usually how long it takes me to get the pages up. So 10-second warning. 10-second warning. It's not 10 seconds anymore. It's probably, in fact, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going to talk just for a couple of minutes about this, which I think is quite, whether you're a Bond fan or not, whether you're a Daniel Craig fan or not, Daniel Craig as Bond fan or not, I think this is just an interesting industry story, to be honest, especially in these weird times. Where is it? Right, I can close Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer now. See, yeah, okay, I'm working out. No Time to Die needs to earn 900 million US dollars to break even as the most expensive James Bond movie ever. But that's not how much they spent on it. We'll come on to that in a moment. A new report claims that due to the growing costs of No Time to Die, the movie now requires a box office return of $900 million just to break even. Just repeated the same thing there. But I hope I've drummed it into you now. Okay, so we all know about the various delays, etc., and that's meant that the costs have spiraled somewhat. And obviously, the delays have been mostly, I think, in fact, entirely COVID related. Breaking this down, then this so-called 900 million US dollars, No Time to Die was last costed at 214 million pounds, according to Companies House in the UK, with the amount having increased from 199.5 million pounds due to interest charges. Now, a year later, that has risen again to around 226 million pounds, or $314 million. And once marketing costs have been added into this price, that comes to around 464 million US dollars we're back in now. And that's at the lower end, it says here, making that the rough figure No Time to Die will need to make in order to be profitable. However, where the 900 million figure comes from is a box office figure, and it's due to the split between the cinematic exhibitor and the movie's distributors. So with MGM likely expecting to take around 50% of every dollar spent on cinema tickets worldwide, that means the movie needs to make at least 928 million US dollars to break even. And they say it is the most expensive James Bond movie of all time. And yeah, that's COVID. COVID has contributed to those increasing costs and therefore increasing kind of targets it's got to meet. But then, of course, COVID has also had an effect on the films that have come out, in the pandemic in terms of their box office appearance. And as the article says here, Bond does pretty well in the box office globally, making $1 billion US dollars and 880 million for Skyfall and Spectre, respectively. But obviously back in normal times. So for context, in weird times, Fast and Furious 9, which has been declared the biggest movie of the summer, has so far made $642 million since its release in June, whereas the previous installment broke $1 billion. So, Skyfall broke $1 billion or hit $1 billion. If Fast and Furious 9 can't do that again in the pandemic, then I really don't think Bond can do it. Bond's probably looking at a similar figure, isn't it, of 642 million. But was Fast and Furious 9 streaming somewhere as well? Does anybody know? Because obviously that has an impact, and we've seen that with Black Widow, for example, and others. Bond is going straight to cinema and only cinema, isn't it? Straight to theaters. So, if that's a Fast and Furious 9 figure that's not taking into account the fact that it's also streaming somewhere and people have that option, then maybe there's some hope for Bond to get up if it's cinemas only. But anyway, quite interesting, I thought. So that's it. I'll come over to the chat on that. But Simon, if you're back, you can come back now. But But saying that, you don't watch the Bad Batch, so maybe you're just not going to come back now. But I'll look up the Lord of the Rings promotional image in my own time if that's the case. Which Alpha Monkey says looks amazing. Can't wait to see how the series plays out. You know what? I'm going to look it up now. I'm looking it up now. Don't know how I missed this because I've been looking at Twitter quite a lot while I was away. I can't even blame it on. Oh, I mean, this story I found is like from 1 hour ago. Did it come out like an hour ago? Or is this old? I can't find it. I think it's this. Hang on a second. I'm bringing it in. I'm sure this is riveting stuff, people. Watching me attempting to multitask, trying to communicate with you and trying to Google something at the same time. It's not easy being a human, man. Yeah, I think it's this, not the Gucci advert. And do we know this city? I think it's this. Yeah, it's from Amazon Studios, the first image from Amazon's Lord of the Rings. It's pretty beautiful. Pretty beautiful artwork there. We'll talk more about that. I'll do some delving, and we'll talk more about that next week, perhaps, because I've got to rush through. Got one more story before our guest will be joining us, and we'll be chat-batching. It's just the delays, I think, and we've mentioned all the insurance costs that have been and the interest that's been racking up with all of the various delays, I believe. That's it. And I might be wrong saying this, but I think with the first delay, they might have gone back and done some reshoots, because I did read somewhere, and I don't know if this ever came to fruition, that there was a danger that with how long this film's been delayed, some of the product placement is now out of date and they had to update it. So they did have to film some pickups for it, which obviously is normal in movie making, but this was a finished film, and the fact it's been released like a year later or whatever it is now meant that a lot of it was made irrelevant. And, Bond does get a lot of its funding from product placement. Okay, Simon said that it was on Empire last week, Empire Online. Cutting edge here on the Geeknd Live. But I was in Japan, right? And they do have the internet there. Anyway, one final story in inverted commas. This is something Star Wars. Where is it? I am just about getting the hang of this again. Here we go. Indria Varma talks Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is on fanfortracks.com. Yeah, Indria Varma here, who we do know is in Kenobi. I believe this might be the first time she's talked about it. It's another one of those interviews where people ask questions about something they know someone can't talk about, and the someone says essentially nothing about the something, and we still make a story about it. I am guilty in interviews of asking those sort of questions. So I'm part of the problem here, people. But anyway, we'll still give it light anyway. This is basically it. So she was actually talking to the Metro, and Fan for Tracks have covered the story here, and she discussed the production, claiming the mega budget Disney Plus series felt like it was more like shooting an indie film, and admitting she has very little knowledge of the wider Star Wars story. She described it as a beast, like an octopus that needs wrangling, but I'm having a brilliant time. Obviously, I can't say anything about any of it, but director Deborah Chow and Ewan McGregor on the acting side have somehow made it feel like an independent movie, which is interesting, which is an interesting sort of vibe to attach to something as big as Star Wars. But then, when you look at the Mandalorian behind the scenes, naturally it's a smaller setup, isn't it, than one of the movies over at Pinewood. And she was asked about her knowledge of Star Wars, and she said, it's all new to me and really embarrassing. I keep getting called out on stuff, but I did play Princess Leia in the playground when I was 6 without having seen it. I had long plaits so I could do the hair. I've watched all the old ones now, but I wouldn't say I'm up to speed. I'm still not sure what order they all go in. So there you go. That's the story, people. I'm going to come over to the chat one more time And then, oh, she got a name, Captain Bragg. Or is this like a nickname we've attached to her because she's been showing off that she's in a new Star Wars? Or is that actually like a confirmed character name, Captain Bragg? Eh? Because there was those leaked pictures of some people in costume, and there was a picture that looked like her in what looked like an Imperial officer outfit, wasn't there? Am I right in saying that? I can't remember what happened the last time I did this stream. What we've talked about over the last. Oh, is she in the Is she in the Bad Batch? Oh, she's that captain. I'm rubbish at these names. Is that confirmed? Cool. Okay. I did not know that, which is good news because not only have I got Star Wars Meg to help me there in the chat, but our guest for the chat batch is all knowing. Is all knowing when it comes to Star Wars, and I can see he's here in the virtual green room. So I will give the final warning now that we are going to go into the Bad Batch chat, and we're looking back at episode 15. We'll take a little look forward to what might come, predictions for episode 16. So keep your thoughts coming in the chat. But I will bring in the guest for this return to the chat batch, this penultimate chat batch. It's my friend, your friend, Alex Damon, Mr. Star Wars Explained. Alex,
hey, Jamie.
If I don't put these on.
I was actually just frantically Googling because I love Star Wars Meg. I love that idea. I hadn't heard that at all, so I'm trying to find confirmation, but I love that idea.
Oh, so it's not confirmed. So I didn't actually.
I don't know. I tend to not like seek leaks out, but casting stuff like that doesn't bother me. So I was just trying to find to see if there was an article about it, and my 2 seconds of Googling didn't turn anything up, but there might be something else. But I love that idea, Star Wars Meg.
So in terms of your Google search, it's currently unconfirmed.
Yeah, sure. But again, like that was 2 seconds of Googling before you pulled me in here.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, but you like the idea anyway. I'm just getting confused now. I'm getting confused. So, because Meg said she is Captain Bragg from the Bad Batch, right? And it
makes sense. Like the characters look alike, and it just feels like a very Star Wars thing to do. To be like, all right, we have this character coming, so why not put her into this show that takes place beforehand? And Captain Bragg hasn't shown up again this season. So it feels kind of right, like a little suspicious. Why would they make that a separate character? You know, I don't know. My conspiracy theory mind is starting to go.
Yeah, and Meg has just clarified that as in she'll be playing the live action version of Bragg, not that she's in the Bad Batch.
Right.
Herself, Indria Varma voicing the character. Right. I got a little hello there from A in Tilly as well.
What's up?
Oh, to you there. Yeah. Okay then. Let's talk a bit about. We're going to focus our efforts on episode 15, finale part 1, and also look ahead to what tomorrow might bring in finale part 2. But first of all, I think we spoke. It was a long time ago now. I think maybe episode 3 or episode 4 in the run. It was a long time ago anyway. So how's the Bad Batch ride been overall for you between whenever that was and now?
I've really been enjoying it. It feels like probably the strongest season 1, in my opinion, for an animated show, which I think it gets to do that coming off of the Clone Wars. It has less like building to do. We already knew the characters, so I think it had all of that going for it. There were like 1 or 2 episodes that didn't really land for me, but for the most part, I walked out of every episode like, yeah, I feel like I have a lot to talk about, and I enjoyed it. And this finale, especially with some of the twists and turns that I wasn't expecting, I'm really digging what they're doing, especially with Crosshair.
Yeah. No, he's. I think people have speculated about him, you know, and where it might end up for him since episode 1, really. But it hasn't disappointed in terms of where it's taking us with that character. One thing though, I do vaguely remember when we last spoke that I don't know if it's fair for me to say you made a prediction, but I'm going to say it anyway. Didn't you predict that Vader might show up?
I mean, I also predicted that Dryden Voss was going to show up. Like all of my predictions, even, and we were just talking about, like, I go into character models way too much. Oh, thanks, Star Wars Meg. I wanted to say a couple weeks ago after the Hera episodes, I did a video on why Hera lost her accent. And then someone left in the comments that, like, hey, Star Wars Meg did a video on this and did it a lot better. And I watched it and they were right. You did it much better and explained it far more than I ever could. So shout out to Star Wars Meg. Good stuff.
Well done, Star Wars Meg. So does Hera have, because I haven't seen Rebels yet, does Hera not have the accent that we hear in the Bad Batch in Rebels then?
She has it like once or twice, and it comes out when she's angry and talking with her father. So it's like one of those things where I think that not only has she not been around Ryloth for a while, but she's just kind of forcing the accent away.
Well, clearly I need to watch Star Wars Meg's video, don't I?
Yeah. Do that. See, I'm sure she did a much better job. She could probably do it better in the chat than I just did. But the Vader thing, like, I spend way too much time thinking about character models and the fact that, like, okay, they made a character model for Caleb Doom and Depa Billaba in season 7 of the Clone Wars. They also did it for Dryden Voss. They also did it for Vader. So we've already seen Depa and Caleb, and I'm like, all right, Dryden, they didn't make that character model for like a 2-second shot. I think he's going to be in this series at some point. Vader, I'm more on the fence about, because that's a powerful final moment for the Clone Wars, and I could see them justifying making a character model for just that scene. But I'm also like, oh, they made the model. They're going to want to reuse it. So that's my guess, that Vader will show up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't bring you here just to defend yourself. You don't need to defend yourself. I don't know if it was an actual kind of I'm committed to this type prediction, but I just vaguely remember it being mentioned, and I remember you talking about the model.
I'm far more committed to Dryden Voss. Like, that's one that I've been every week. I feel like he's coming, and now I'm like, all right, well, I doubt he's going to pop up in tomorrow's episode. So next season he's coming.
Season 2, the dream lives on. Right then, episode 15, return to Camino, which is what the Bad Batch do in an attempt to save Hunter in what has been billed as the season finale, part 1, which is obvious, I guess, once you've seen it. And it kind of it feels like a bit of an end of an era episode as well, doesn't it, with the clones being sent away to wherever by the Empire for a new old era of soldier. What were the highlights of this episode for you?
The best scene, in my opinion, was everything in the training room. It just felt like so many other classic Star Wars, mostly throne room scenes. We got the Emperor's throne room, Snoke's throne room, the Mandalorian throne room, where you have a character asking someone else to join them, and just everything Crosshair did, giving them a chance that he felt he didn't give or get, giving them a chance to join him, revealing that he had his chip taken out, taking down the Imperial troops. And then, I mean, I'm just a sucker for good guys and bad guys, so to speak, fighting side by side. So when he picks up his rifle and starts fighting the sentry droids with the Bad Batch, and the theme kicks in like better than it's ever sounded, I was over the moon with that scene.
Yeah. The best thing being how it looks. This episode didn't let me down in that department at all. You mentioned the theme there, and also with the destruction of the clone facility on Camino. It was just beautiful.
I completely agree. It surprised me how emotional that made me, just those final shots. And that was even something I think in our discussion for episode 14, I was like, I really want them to take Hunter back to Camino. I'd really love to see it empty because I think that would be really chilling. And then it was happening, and I was like, "Don't do this!" Like, I take it back. It hurt, which I think it just surprised me how much that hurt, and I think that's more probably a testament to like the Clone Wars series and how much you fall in love with clones, and to see them have their home destroyed. And not only that, but Rampart makes it's clones on that Venator. He tells clones to destroy their own home, where I'm like, you guys have been defending this place for 3 years, and now it's just like, blow it up. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, no, as a latecomer to the Clone Wars, and therefore, obviously, well, the Bad Batch, you know, I've been in real time with everybody else, apart from the 3 episodes just gone. Yeah, this probably hit me emotionally the most in this series, and probably more than anything in the Clone Wars as well. I will go as far as saying, I'm putting that on record right now. Now, you mentioned Crosshair, you mentioned the chip as well, and there is a question here. I've seen a lot of chat about the chip and Crosshair's intentions. There's a question from Jane Flakes. Before we get into the question, I do have this is an actual bone to pick with you now, Alex. The prediction thing, that's okay. You know, these things happen. But you, Alex, you spoiled this for me. You spoiled the chip revelation for me. Well, I mean, it's entirely my fault because I only saw the episode yesterday. And at some point earlier this week, I stumbled onto, I think it must have been Twitter, and saw the thumbnail for your video in regards to this subject matter. And I was like, okay, there we go. Thanks, Alex. Thanks.
I gave you 4 days.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, basically, I'm just 4 days isn't enough. What I'm asking you to do really is in future, if you can plan your release schedule around my viewing habits, which tend to be slower than most.
Next time I'll email you and I'll say, Jamie, do you know that Crosshair's chip has already been taken out, or should I not put that in the thumbnail?
Yeah, the thing is though, with I don't know, I've just generally been more casual towards the Bad Batch, and I was locked out of it in Japan. I don't know why I couldn't log into Disney Plus. So I was seeing these episodes a lot later than normal, but the Bad Batch for me hasn't been something like The Mandalorian, where I will watch it at literally the first possible moment that I can. And also The Mandalorian, when I haven't been able to watch it right away, or when a new Star Wars film comes out, I stay off social media. Simple as that. But with the Bad Batch, I've been a little bit more, gung-ho with my approach. So it's my fault. But anyway, let's look at Jane's question then. Do you think the chip's out, or is Crosshair lying?
I'm going with the chip is out right now, because I just don't think the writers are trying to trick us. Or if I'm not sure that the chip is out, because I didn't see the surgical scar, but it could be hidden along with all the other scarring from being burned. I think that the chip probably just got damaged beyond repair, and Crosshair knows that. I don't know. I just don't think that the writers are trying to trick us. That's the main thing. I think that Crosshair having his chip out is the more challenging and difficult thing, especially for the Bad Batch to hear, than him just lying about it. So I'm going with it's out. But if they tomorrow are like, nope, he was lying, I'll be like, yeah, okay. that wouldn't be just completely out of the blue to me.
And Jane's added, if it is out, then he has murdered people while following orders. Hard to come back to the good guys from that, unless he is sacrificed for the good of the others. Do you have a Crosshair finale prediction for tomorrow? Do you think
I have one that I don't like myself. I'm like kind of terrified that this will happen, but his whole thing was, you guys didn't give me a chance. And I think that really affected Hunter. And we've seen throughout the series that he's kind of had some guilt about leaving Crosshair behind. And we saw like Hauser, when he went out, he's like, I'm not leaving my men. I'm not going with you. I have to go try to talk some sense into him. And Hunter has that look of like, oh, maybe that was the right thing to do, and maybe I should do that for Crosshair. That's how I'm interpreting it anyway. So I have this prediction that it's going to come down to like for some reason, one of us has to stay behind. And I think Hunter is going to throw Crosshair into safety or whatever, and he's going to give Crosshair that chance and sacrifice himself for Crosshair's potential redemption, which I think is uber heartbreaking. I'll be devastated if it happens, but I don't know, something about it feels like the story could be building to that. I totally agree that, like, it's dark, Jane. And to go back to what you were saying about, when the chip was taken out, I do think it was taken out after most of the horrific stuff that he did, at least in the show. Like in the 3rd episode when he had those civilians murdered, like he was still saying good soldiers follow orders and stuff. So I'm like, I think the chip was still in there. I think he probably had it taken out after Braca and the burns, but still, like, he knows what he did. He knows what the Empire is capable of and capable of ordering him to do. He still stayed with them. And we didn't see everything he did on screen, so it's still, there's still potential for him to have done some really awful things. But whenever it comes to redemption in Star Wars, I'm like, if Darth Vader and Kylo Ren can be redeemed, then so can Crosshair. And
yeah, there's definitely place for Crosshair in that department. So yeah, Jane Flakes is therefore predicting tears if your prediction does come right tomorrow.
I hope I'm wrong.
Babbling Booby says it's Disney. Everyone is going to be fine. Have you seen Rogue One? Babbling Booby. And this has been quite a dark series itself. I mean, going back to Crosshair, we had that dreadful execution. This has not been at all times a kid-friendly show. So anything could happen tomorrow.
I agree.
Within reason.
My hope is that everyone makes it off. The whole Bad Batch and AZ. I want AZ to join the crew. Like, everyone just get off safely. That sounds good to me.
Peter has a question, and because he sent me a sticker, which I still don't know. What's the difference between a super sticker and a super chat? Do you know the difference, Alex?
I think a sticker is just like a GIF that you can send in, but
that makes
I honestly
sense.
don't really know.
There's no GIF. Nothing's appeared. It says super sticker, but it just appears like a super chat. But anyway, Peter, thank you again. And because you sent me the sticker that doesn't seem to be a sticker, let's take your question here, Alex, from Peter. Could one of the clones be a Jedi or become one? Do you think?
I mean, I'm very much part of the camp that believes that the Force is available to everyone and that anyone can learn to become more in tune with the Force. I mean, Luke didn't know about the Force until he was 19. And granted, he had Skywalker blood, so like he had that head start. But like, let's look at Finn, who didn't know about the Force until much later in his life, and he is starting to become Force sensitive. I think that as long as someone has the drive, then you can become more at one with the universe, more at peace with yourself. I think that's more what George Lucas was saying about the Force, instead of like, it's about midichlorians and whether or not your parents were Jedi or anything like that. I think that it would be tough for a clone because of their upbringing and the way they're like trained for combat. I don't see that as being indicative of someone who could easily start to learn about the Force, but same with Finn's upbringing. So yeah, I think it's perfectly possible for a clone of Jango Fett to become a Jedi. Just, it would be difficult and unlikely.
Yeah, well, we'll see. There's if not tomorrow, there's another season to maybe flesh that kind of story out. And speaking of which, they have recently confirmed there will be season 2, which I think everybody just assumed was confirmed without it being confirmed anyway. It didn't really feel like much of a surprise. But were you surprised of when they officially announced it, rather than waiting and announcing it after the actual finale, i.e. after tomorrow? Because now we know for sure that it is going to be all right tomorrow for most of them, some of them.
I kind of, especially after Loki, where I wonder if Loki was kind of a testing ground, because I think for the Loki finale, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure if I'm super into this finale. And then at the end, it was like, Loki's coming back for season 2. And I was like, never mind. Like, that makes sense now. It makes sense that was a season finale, not a series finale. So maybe a lot of people had that reaction, and now they're testing out on the Bad Batch. Like, okay, let's do it a little bit earlier and see how people respond. But it didn't affect my viewing of episode 15 at all. Like, knowing that, yeah, they're going to do a season 2, I was still fully invested in what they were doing. So maybe that's just them showing confidence in their finale. But yeah, I'm not thinking that, oh, everyone's going to be fine and safe. And yeah, we don't need all of them for season 2. So there's still tension there. It didn't kill any tension for me.
So assuming that they do survive tomorrow, which, you know, it's looking like the tables are going to turn tomorrow, aren't they? Like, Omega's going to be, you know, she's the one that's been kind of guided through this new galaxy to her by the Bad Batch, but tomorrow they're, you know, she's the one that potentially can navigate them to safety, you know, through that underwater tube system, which was pretty cool. I like the idea that the tables might be turned in that sense for the finale, and she is the one that saves the Bad Batch. So assuming they're saved, you know, one way or another, where do you think, I mean, this is 2 questions, or it could be 1 question. Where do you think, where would you like?
You broke up on me a little bit. Or a lot of it.
Also, see, it was all of it. What did you last hear from me?
Basically the start of the question.
Back?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. The rest of the question is, I mean, this could be 1 question, it could be 2 questions. Where do you think, and also, where would you like season 2 to take us?
So I really want Crosshair to survive because, you know, redemption or no, I think that's a really interesting thing to have him along with the rest of the team. And just everything that he went through alone, they're going to be at odds with each other no matter what. But for them to try to reconcile and put their little family back together, I think that would be really interesting to watch, instead of just like, oh, Crosshair fought with them for a little bit and then they knocked him out and they brought him along, but oh no, he's just dead. Like, that's based on how Star Wars has gone in the past. That's an easy prediction to make, that Crosshair is going to die next episode, but I think it's far more interesting to keep him around and see what they do. And if I'm right about the Hunter thing, which I still hope I'm not, but that would leave them kind of without their leader. And so all of the team is going to have to figure out what to do without Hunter. And on top of that, they're going to have Crosshair with them, and they're not going to know what to do with him. So I just think that makes for some very interesting storytelling.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on keeping Crosshair for season 2. So everybody in the chat, sorry I've missed a few comments. By the way, Peter liked your answer very much from earlier on. Let's hear your, I know not everybody likes doing this, but play along, why not? Let's have your marks out of 10. Marks out of 10 for episode 15, Return to Camino. We haven't done this for a while, so I'll come over to the chat to get your scores in a moment. A few things to ask Alex still, including a question. It's from the Supreme Leader, so we have to respond. Quite off topic, not really, but Alex, your Wrecker mug is super cool. Yeah, I can see that in the background as well.
I got my mug. I got my bobble. There he is. I love Wrecker. I've got the Black Series over there. He's just one of those characters that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna collect Wrecker stuff. I got Biggs. I got Max Rebo.
Now?
Yeah, I love Wrecker. I loved him from the start, from the Clone Wars arc. I thought he was super fun. I'm a sucker for a himbo character, so Wrecker was my favorite from last year, and then getting to learn more about his personality and seeing him, the way he interacts with Omega, I was like, yep, he's the one. Love that Big Brother energy. So I started collecting Wrecker stuff.
Why not? Why not? I'm at peace with Wrecker. He, to be honest, in the Clone Wars and at the start of the Bad Batch, he annoyed me, but he has grown on me ever since. Not to the level where I'm gonna purchase his mug yet, but maybe by the end of season 2, I might complete that transaction. I think in a moment I'd buy Tech's mug. Is that okay?
You're very much like Molly. Molly didn't like Wrecker and has come around on him, but she is a much bigger Tech fan.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a Tech mug available?
Not that I know of. I believe there are action figures, though. It's like they kind of spread the merchandise out among all of the various clones.
So don't forget to get your marks out of 10. I can see a few in for episode 15. Also, some final predictions for tomorrow as well. I'm coming over to it in a minute as we wrap up. But Alex, when this is done, when the Bad Batch finishes, there's a little bit of a break, Star Wars wise, isn't there? But I suppose attention next switch to Visions. That's coming next, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that'll be interesting.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah. So I'm not a big anime person. Nothing against it, just never really got into it. I watched a little Toonami as a kid. So like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing. That was about as deep as I got into anime, which is pretty surface level. Like most boys in middle school liked Dragon Ball Z. So I've been kind of educating myself. I had a friend who is very into anime. He went through all of the studios that are in Visions and all of the directors that are involved. And he basically made me a list and was like, here, check out some of this stuff and see what you like. And some of it I really, really liked. And some of it has just been okay. I've really loved Gurren Lagann. So I'm excited for the 2 Trigger shorts movies that are short films, I think they described them. But Project Trigger is doing 2 of those stories. And I'm really excited for them now.
Yeah, I know nothing about anime, but I like the idea that Star Wars, because I'm always there for new Star Wars. Okay, yes, with the Clone Wars, it took me about 8 or 9 years or something, but I like the idea that Star Wars is going to be my introduction to anime. Although I actually, and I mean, I'm a bit of a fraudster here because with the hashtag Unicorn Gundam, you know, I did not know that was anything to do with anime, but I saw a massive anime robot in Tokyo. Look, it is on my Instagram. That's cool, isn't it? That's a Unicorn really cool. Gundam. Did you know? Yeah, and on the hour it lights up and does little movements.
I do like the Gundam. From what I've seen, I like Gundam stuff. I've only seen Gundam Wing and like the movie, and I think one other. But I enjoyed it. I did not mean to remove
you from the stream there.
Some strong opinions from Jamie about Gundam.
It was pretty shocking what you just said, but it was not my intention to remove you. I meant to remove my my Instagram photo. That so far is my only relationship with anime, taking that picture. But again, I look forward to Star Wars trying to, get me into anime. Alpha Monkey says I would have preferred a What If series, but in a way, this has the potential to be like a What If series, doesn't it?
A little bit. I mean, it's not canon, so it's just saying like, here you go, anime creators, do whatever you want in Star Wars, and they're not necessarily. I still suspect that at some point we're gonna get like mentions of these characters and stuff just for fun. I think that they might be rolled into canon over time, but for now they're just like, do whatever you want. Maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't, but they don't want to constrain them as they make these crazy, hopefully like just different takes on Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I'm all for fresh new ideas, and I also quite like the fact that it's not canon. I think for the creators anyway, there's so much freedom that they've been given.
It's interesting that it's going to be. Oh, yeah, it's interesting that they're dropping it all on one day.
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's 9 short films or whatever that means, and they're all going to come out on September 22nd. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm going to miss having the weekly Star Wars, but I think that probably means maybe they'll be on the shorter side. I don't know. So I don't think it's going to be on that same level as like the Bad Batch, or certainly not Book of Boba Fett, but I think they're probably just trying to test some things out and see how people respond to it.
How will you treat that for the channel? Will you do just one big overall video the day they drop, or will you go in individually and make videos?
I'm not sure. I think we'll do individual stuff, but we're going to wait and see. We'll watch it on that Wednesday and just decide then how we feel about it. Cause it might not land for me. Cause I'm not a huge anime person. So I might just be like, well, that was fun and interesting and different, and I'm ready to move on. Or I might fall in love with it and want to cover all of them individually and do what we've been doing weekly with the Bad Batch. I'm not sure. We're just going to play it by ear.
Yeah, there's still time. There's still time to decide. Let's get the scores in the chat. There's a few in for episode 15 of The Bad Batch. Alpha Monkey with a 9 out of 10. An 8.5 out of 10 from Casa Jane Flakes. It was nearly tears watching them at the end. Episode 15 from Peter was a nice one. 8 out of 10. Frogger. I didn't say hello to you earlier. Also, hello to Gaz as well. Gaz Nottingham. I saw you pop up in the chat earlier. Frogger hasn't seen the episode yet, but that didn't stop him joining in for the chat batch. Fair play to you. So come back to us next week with your rating. And there's a question for you, Alex. Please tell us that the handsome pooch behind has a Star Wars inspired name.
I was about to say, well, I'm going to say his name and he might wake up. He's comfortably napping, and I always hate to ruin that because he's only 2. His name is actually a Battlestar Galactica inspired name, Hilo. We're safe. His full name is Carl Wagathon, named after Carl Agathon from Battlestar Galactica, but the nickname is Hilo.
Well, I hope that's okay for you, Jane. Jane might be very disappointed by this. You might have lost a subscriber to the channel.
Our last dog was named Biggs, so
there we go.
There's that.
All right, a couple more final scores. Gaz, 8.8, my highest score so far. Love the sound. Beats were awesome. Where helped and kicked through tension it did have. Okay, now my chat's freezing. I don't know if I've frozen, but my chat's freezing.
You froze for me for a second,
but Gundam Wing is. I'm back, everybody. But Gaz was an 8.8 if you missed a score. I didn't mean to put this message up from Phil, but it's up there, so I'll reference it. Gundam Wing is basically the only anime I watched when a friend lent me the DVD box set. No, Jane, Book of Boba's not next. That's December, isn't it? Book of Boba. So it's Visions next. 8.5 out of 10 from Clays. Anders gives it a 9 out of 10. Also, Jason said, great to listen to conversation between 2 of my favorite Star Wars commentators. I assume Jason means Jane and Frogger in the chat. Who else? Babbling Booby, 8 out of 10. Phil Hawkins, 9 out of 10. No score from Dave Milano, but he does say, I was really surprised how moving the shots of an empty Camino were. So tragic. Yeah, I'm with you on that. 4 out of 10 for my internet connection. Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. It seems to be worse than normal. But hey, here's an exclusive for you if I'm not freezing at the moment. You've got 3 weeks left of me being in the shed because I'm on the move again, and I will be coming at you from a place where I'm not using my hotspot on my mobile phone. So we're going profesh, people. So just a few more weeks of rating my internet connection badly, Babbling Booby. Alex, I have linked to, I think everybody knows you already, but anyone who doesn't, I have linked to Star Wars Explained in the video description, also on YouTube, also the Twitter, the Patreon as well. Obviously, a little while away from Visions, but what's coming up in the immediate future on the channel?
Oh, we're going on vacation next week because 15 straight weeks in a row of The Bad Batch was a lot.
Yeah,
it was fun. But I guess we'll just be talking about whatever we feel like for a while. Bad Batch has been dominating the channel and High Republic, but we got some more High Republic stuff coming out at the end of this month. Next month, I think we've got like the Edge of Balance manga. So yeah, there's definitely some things to look forward to, but we're probably gonna just chill a little bit until Visions comes out, and then Book of Boba Fett's gonna come out, and we'll probably never stop talking about Star Wars because 2022 is gonna be insane.
Yeah, you need to get all your vacations in now while you still can, I think, because 2022 you are not going to be able to stop by the looks of the assumed schedule anyway. Well, yeah, cool. Well, I hope you enjoy the vacation. I hope you enjoy tomorrow's finale as well. I hope the predictions that you do want to come true, and the ones that you don't want to come true don't come true as well. And I will obviously mute you on Twitter until I've seen the episode myself.
Good idea.
But don't take it personally. Final 9 out of 10 as well from A and Tilly. And I think that's it. He said, always a joy to hang with you, Jamie, and quite a nice surprise that Alex is here to chat, not for the first time. We think it was episode 3 or 4. Alex was here. Really great show today, apart from the internet. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you again to my guest, Alex from Star Wars Explained. If you don't know him already, go and check him out in the video description. All the links are there. And I will be back next week. And there's no plan. But I will be here same time next week. So until then, take care, everybody, and I hope you enjoy tomorrow's finale. So this is the awkward bit where I try and find the end broadcast button. There it is. It's big and red. Let's keep waving. Keep waving, everybody. You at home as well. Keep waving. Keep waving. Broadcast end.